People say your first kiss is supposed to be magical. Mine tasted like rain, blood, and death. I didn't plan it. God knows I didn't. But when the stranger with eyes like a midnight storm leaned in, and I felt the world tilt on its axis, I did the stupidest thing imaginable. I kissed him. And that's when everything went to hell. The night was cold in New York City, a misty drizzle painting the sidewalks silver. I'd just finished my late shift at the diner, my hands reeking of grease, my wallet lighter than ever. 22 years old, college dropout, broke, and lonely. That was me, Ethan Parker. Nothing about my life screamed romance. If anything, it screamed exhaustion. But then there he was, standing at the corner like he belonged to another world entirely. A man too striking, too haunting to belong on a dirty city street. His coat was long, black, tailored in a way no thrift shop would ever produce. His hair was as dark as the night sky, his face chiseled and pale under the street lamp. And those eyes, God, those eyes, like they'd seen every funeral, every heartbreak, every goodbye humanity had ever whispered. I should have walked away. Any sane person would have. But there was something about him that pulled me closer, like a moth to the flame, even if it meant getting burned. You shouldn't be here, he said, his voice low, like velvet dragging against stone. I laughed, though it sounded more like a cough. Trust me, I don't want to be here either. But rent doesn't pay itself. For a second, I thought I saw a flicker of something almost human in his expression. Amusement, maybe. Sadness. Then it was gone, and he looked at me like I was just another name on a long, long list. Ethan Parker, he whispered, and the sound of my name on his lips sent a shiver down my spine. Do I know you? My chest tightened. He didn't answer. Instead, he stepped closer, the air chilling with his presence. I should have backed away. I should have screamed. But all I did was stand there, trembling, as his hand brushed mine. Cold. So unbearably cold. And then, before I knew it, before I could think or breathe, I kissed him. Or maybe he kissed me. Maybe fate just decided to shove us together in that exact second. But our lips touched, and the world cracked open. My lungs burned. My heart skipped, then stuttered, then roared like it had been asleep my whole life. His mouth was colder than ice, but it sent fire through my veins. I couldn't stop, couldn't pull back, even when I knew something was terribly, horribly wrong. When it ended, he looked at me with fury and something else. Something I didn't have words for. You fool, he hissed. Do you have any idea what you've done? I stumbled back, chest heaving. You kissed death, he said. His voice wasn't a metaphor. It was the truth. I could feel it like chains wrapping around my soul. And now your fate is bound to mine. I laughed, half hysterical. What? Like some kind of supernatural STD? His glare could have split me in two. This isn't a joke. You've tied your life to me. Your every heartbeat now belongs to death itself. The next days were a blur. I'd wake up gasping, cold sweat soaking my sheets. Every time I blinked, I saw him, the man who called himself Azrael. Not a guy in a goth costume, not a lunatic off the streets. No, he was death, the angel of the end, the one who came for souls when their clocks ran out. And somehow, because of one reckless kiss, I was tethered to him. First, I thought it was a nightmare, until the incident started. A car swerved toward me, brakes failing, and I should have been crushed, but the world froze. The tires stopped inches away, the air thick and shimmering. And there he was, standing beside me, his hand brushing mine. You're welcome, he said coldly before vanishing. Another time, at the diner, a robber burst in waving a gun. My chest went cold, my body trembling as the barrel turned toward me. But before the trigger could pull, the robber collapsed, unconscious. And behind the counter's reflection, I caught his figure-black coat, merciless eyes, watching me. I wanted to scream at him, to demand answers, to beg for my life back. But each time, when I finally saw him face to face, all the anger melted into something terrifyingly worse. Longing. Because under all that darkness, there was loneliness. a loneliness I recognized too well. One night, I cornered him in the cemetery. Yeah, cliché, I know. But where else would death hang out? The fog was heavy, the marble angels staring down at me like judges. He stood by an old oak tree, as though he'd been waiting. Why me? I asked, my voice shaking. Out of all the people in the world, why tie me to you? He didn't look at me. His gaze lingered on the gravestones. It wasn't supposed to happen. Mortals aren't meant to touch me, much less kiss me. I swallowed hard. So what, I'm cursed now? His jaw tightened. You're alive. More alive than you've ever been. My presence has awakened something in you. But it also means. He finally turned, eyes burning into mine. That when your time comes, you won't go alone. You'll come with me. Something inside me cracked then, not from fear, but from the weight of it. To know that my ending was tied to his beginning. To know that every laugh, every tear, every kiss from now on would echo in eternity. But when his cold hand brushed my cheek, trembling like he hadn't touched anyone in centuries, I realized something far more dangerous. I didn't want to escape him. I wanted him. I used to think love was about warmth, about the safety of sunlight, laughter spilling in kitchens, arms that promised forever. But standing there in that graveyard, with death's hand cupping my cheek, I realized love could also be cold, terrifying, a plunge into the unknown where forever meant something far stranger than I could ever imagine. Azrael looked at me like I was both a mistake and a miracle. His lips parted, but the words stuck in his throat. He was death, and yet in that moment he seemed helpless, haunted. Ethan, he whispered, my name falling like prayer from his lips. You should run. You should hate me. I tried, I admitted. My voice cracked. But every time you show up, I can't. I don't know if this is fate or madness, but I can't hate you. I think I'm falling for you. For a moment silence stretched. The night itself seemed to hold its breath. Then Azrael's eyes softened, the storm quieting just enough for me to glimpse the man beneath the endless shadows. You're a fool, he said again, but softer this time. His thumb brushed the corner of my mouth, almost reverent. And yet, I envy you. The words shattered something inside me. Azrael, envying me, a broke, lonely, ordinary man. What could death possibly envy? Your life, he murmured, answering the question in my chest. Your fleeting, burning life. I've watched billions fade away. I've carried kings and beggars alike. But I have never, his voice faltered. I have never been allowed to live, not even once. The confession hit me harder than any threat. My eyes stung. Then let me give you that. Even if it's just a moment, Azrael. Be alive with me. He stared, stunned, as though no one had ever dared to offer him something so simple, so impossible. His lips parted to refuse, but I didn't let him. I leaned in, closing the space, pressing my mouth against his. The kiss burned and froze all at once. His lips were still cold, but this time, I welcomed it. Let it sink into me. Let it bind me deeper. For a heartbeater, maybe forever. Azrael kissed me back. Desperate, aching, like a man starved of touch for eternity. When we broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. You don't understand. To love me is to walk willingly into your own grave. Then I'll walk with you, I said. Just don't make me do it alone. The days that followed weren't easier. Being tied to death meant feeling the weight of mortality everywhere. I saw things others couldn't. Shadows curling around the dying, whispers of names waiting to be called. Sometimes I hated it. Sometimes I wanted to scream at him for dragging me into this nightmare. But then there were nights where Azrael stayed, silent but present, sitting beside me on my crappy couch while reruns played on TV. He didn't laugh, but sometimes his lips curved like he almost could. Sometimes he touched my hand like it was the only anchor keeping him from drifting into the void. Those nights I realized wasn't just death. He was Azrael, and he was mine. The climax came on a storm-heavy evening, thunder rattling the windows. I was crossing a bridge when a truck lost control. I heard the screech of tires, the shattering crash, and then nothing but the sensation of falling. Water swallowed me whole, freezing, merciless. My lungs screamed, my body flailed, and I knew this was the end. My time had finally come. Through the blur of water and terror, I saw him, Azrael, descending into the river like shadows shaped into a man, his eyes blazing with agony. Ethan, his voice echoed in my skull, furious, desperate. No, not yet, not you. Arms wrapped around me, pulling me out of the dark. His lips pressed to mine again, not a kiss, but breath, life itself pouring into me. My chest convulsed, water spilling as air tore back into my lungs. When I woke on the riverbank, coughing and shaking, he was there, kneeling, drenched, trembling harder than I was. "You weren't supposed to die tonight," he whispered, voice raw. "But I would have gone with you. I would have broken every law written in the heavens before I let you go alone." Tears blurred my vision. I reached for him, cupping his face. "Then stop pretending you don't care. Stop fighting this. If fate bound us, maybe it's because we're supposed to be together. Not as death and mortal, just as us." For the first time, Azrael's mask cracked. His lips trembled, his eyes burned, and he leaned into my touch like a man starved. "Ethan Parker," he said, and this time his voice carried something fierce, something alive. "You are either the ruin of me, or the salvation I never dared hope for. Maybe both," I whispered, and kissed him again. Our story doesn't end with weddings or white picket fences. It ends with compromise, living every day knowing death is my shadow, my lover, my fate. Some nights, I still wake trembling, knowing one day he'll come for me. But when that day comes, I won't fear it, because I know he'll be there, not just as the end, but as the one who walked with me through life. And when he whispers my name for the last time, it won't sound like doom. It'll sound like love, because I accidentally kissed death. And somehow, impossibly, he kissed me back. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.